Hello guys and welcome back to another video.
Today we're going to take you through the best 2-month Central America backpacking route.
We're currently in Costa Rica, which almost wraps up our trip once we head to Panama. Now we started our adventure flying from Miami into Belize City.
We spent a day in Belize City and honestly you could definitely skip this and just head to one of the islands.
And the island we chose to go to was Key Corca.
This is one of the more popular and closer islands.
There's other options like San Pedro or some other ones, but this was the easiest and quickest to get to. We just got a $40 boat over to it and it was incredible.
It's actually home to the second largest barrier reef in the world, so that was pretty cool. While we were there we did a 7-stop snorkeling trip where we saw everything from sharks, turtles, manatees. It was crazy.
So 2 or 3 days there and we head back to Belize City because we're heading to our next stop.
So from Belize City we got a 5-hour bus and headed to San Ignacio.
Now this is a very small little quaint town. There's not a whole lot to do there, but it does feel very authentic and very local.
If you can time it right, you probably only need like 1 night, 2 days there. It depends on the bus timings. We ended up doing 2 nights, which was quite long.
And the main reason we chose this one was to go to Chichen Itza?
Tunich.
That one,
yeah.
That one. Now this is an epic Mayan ruin and that was probably one of the best highlights of the north of Central America that we went to.
They actually speak English everywhere in Belize, but as soon as you leave to the next place, the Spanish starts, so be aware.
So from San Ignacio, we crossed the border into Guatemala and we went all the way to Flores.
Our bus was meant to pick us up at 2 p.m. It actually ended up delaying until 4 p.m, 5 p.m, 6 p.m and on. We ended up getting into Flores around 11 p.m. at night, so it was very.
Then we ended up spending about 2 or 3 days in Flores, a really nice little island. Again, not a huge amount to do here. It's one of the, like, you can skip it if you want, but it's definitely a good halfway point getting down to Guatemala.
One of the most popular things to do here is the George's rope swing. You get a little boat out, you can spend a full day there, and it's family owned. And you can also hop on over to Tikal, which is obviously popular for the Mayan ruins.
Then after a couple of days in Flores, we headed down to Antigua. Now this was one of the main stops that you'll hear about in Guatemala, and for good reason.
We spent 5 days in total here. 2 of them days we were acclimatizing, ready for the famous Atitlan and Fuego hike.
Now this is one of the most active volcanoes in the world and you can hike up it and see it spitting lava with your own eyes. So really incredible. Then the town of Antigua itself.
It was really cute. The streets were amazing and there was quite a lot to do there, and apparently there's quite a big nightlife scene as well.
And very good coffee. We then headed over to Lake Atitlan.
Yeah, I think so.
We then headed over to Lake Atitlan, which is another very popular spot.
You normally get dropped off into Panjashal and then there's like loads of different options around the lake, but to get to each of these different locations you have to take a lancha, which is technically just a boat, but the boat only runs from like 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. We just used Panjashal as the main hub, so we stayed there and then got boats out to each of the different locations.
Now there's 4 or 5 different little town cities around the lake and each of them have a different vibe. One's very backpackery, one's very cultural and colourful. San Pedro's like party vibes, San Juan is like cultural vibes, so there's a little bit of everything for everyone. Now you can spend a few days here.
Yeah, you could probably skip from each location, or like we did, base yourself in Panjashal and go out each day to different points around the lake. We had quite bad weather when we were there, so all of the stuff like the cliff jumping and swimming and sunbathing is kind of the main attraction there, so we didn't get to do that, but there's some other bits and pieces around the lake which you can do, but we spent a couple of days here and that was enough for us.
We then headed into Guatemala City.
A lot of people have told us just to skip Guatemala City because of safety reasons, but we're kind of city people, so we did it anyway.
We spent 2 nights there and I quite enjoyed it. It was quite a nice city. We definitely saw a lot more authentic local vibes there. Because all backpackers skip it, I feel like it's much more authentic. With that being said, everything we're talking about throughout this video, we've been making daily vlogs on my YouTube channel, and
I've been making TikToks, like daily vlogs over on there.
So if you want to get into the nitty-gritty of all the costs, the timings, everything to do in each location, give each of them a subscribe and a follow. This is just our overall 2-month plan. Back to it.
So from Guatemala City, we headed over to another unsafe city, which was San Salvador in El Salvador, and we really liked it here.
We spent 2 nights there, one to recover from the very long bus journey and one to explore a little bit. There's a rainbow slide and a few other things to do, but not a lot. The main thing you're going to want to do in El Salvador is go down to somewhere like El Tunco.
Or El Zonte. We chose El Tunco and we did surf.
We spent 3 or 4 days there learning to surf, and it was pretty hard if you never surfed before.
Yeah, a lot of people do recommend it for surfing, but I think that's for expert level surfers, not beginners.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind if you are considering going.
Next, we took a shared shuttle from El Tunco all the way over to La Union. That shuttle's not actually that easy to get. It's very dependent on who wants to go there on those days. The other route is going back to San Salvador and then going to La Union from there. But La Union gets you all the way to the very east of El Salvador.
We'd highly recommend doing the camping at the top of the volcano in La Union. I think it's called Spirit de Montaña. It was really affordable and really good trip.
Yeah, you get incredible sunrise views, and you're going to have to get up early at that 5 a.m. because at 6 a.m. you get the bus down the hill for your 7 a.m. boat.
And a lot of people did actually do this, but it is tiring because that boat, there's no toilets, you're in the direct sunlight, you have to wear a life jacket, so it makes you even more hot, and you've had no sleep from the night before, so keep that in mind.
If you guys are enjoying the video, don't forget to subscribe.
And don't forget to check out my TikTok.
And you might be thinking, where is this boat going? We actually skipped Honduras. Now, this is very common for UK passport holders because to get a Honduras visa, you need to go to the embassy and do a load of paperwork. So if you're just backpacking off the cuff without pre-planning this visa, you're going to struggle to get into Honduras. So instead,
we took the Brexit boat, which is what people call it, and headed over to Nicaragua.
That boat crosses over into Nicaragua, and then you have to get a bus all the way to Leon. It's one of the main towns in Nicaragua because
you can do volcano boarding, which I'm sure if you've done any research on Nicaragua, you would have seen on TikTok.
That was definitely one of the highlights for me. It's an incredible experience and well worth stopping there for. Yeah,
you hike 45 minutes up a volcano and then you get to board all the way down it. And the journey to and from, I think we can just overlay some videos here to explain, let it explain for itself. Other than that experience, I would say there's not really much to do in Leon. There was a lot of people begging for money, and some of the girls got their phones stolen on nights out. One girl said she got mugged on her way home. It just felt a little bit unsafe there. We didn't really go out too much in the evening. We did do a bar crawl, which was organised by the hostel, so we were with a group. And the hostel actually gave security for the bar crawl, so I think that says something in itself, but it's definitely worth stopping there for the volcano boarding.
Yeah, from Leon, there's a couple of different options. Now, you all sort of go down south, and you can either go to Granada, San Juan del Sur, or Ometepe.
And also Popoyo.
So all of these are kind of very similar beach vibe towns. We decided on San Juan del Sur, and it was really nice. It was a nice little beach town, very Spain vibes, nothing really to do but chill.
Ometepe is more jungle vibes. It's actually in a lake, but we just thought the transfer there to get it wasn't really worth it. And San Juan del Sur had basically everything that we needed.
And that was a quick stop for us before we headed into Costa Rica. So we got a bus service down to Liberia? Liberia? Another country, isn't it?
Africa.
Anyway, there's an airport there, so we got a rental car from the very north of Costa Rica. Now, that's apparently one of the best ways to get around, you said?
Yeah, looking at bus routes and the cost of rental cars, it seemed a lot cheaper to just rent a car. And people say then you can sort of stop on the way down as you're traveling between the different places.
We love driving ourselves anyway. We've done a lot of road trips in our time, crossed a lot of land borders ourselves. So it's a really nice way to see the place. And it's like $20, $30 a day for a rental car, which is well worth it. That then took us down to right here, which is a bit of a splurge for us. Now, we're budget backpacking because we're doing 6 months, but we also saved a lot of Marriott points before coming here. So we're actually currently in a 5-star resort of the JW Marriott. We used a load of points, otherwise this would normally be about $600-700 a night, but it's nice to relax after staying in hostels and cheap hotels for a while.
Yeah. So this is actually on Guanacaste area, but it's by Tamarindo, which a lot of people know, and it's a popular spot for backpackers to stay.
Then we have the rest of our route for Costa Rica.
So next up we're going to Santa Teresa for a few days, which is another little beach town. You can do surfing there, and I think there's a few waterfalls as well which you can head on out to, which is going to be super easy since we have our car.
Just talking about cars and going back to all the transport we talk about, it's extremely easy to book a shared shuttle in Central America. There's lots of stalls around every one of these little tourist towns directing you and helping you. There's also Bookaway, which is an app, which bit of trouble with, but these buses can turn up late, can get there, take longer than they say. In general, every leg of the journey has been kind of 4 to 6 hours on average.
Yeah.
The timings are pretty accurate, but they might turn up late and it might take an hour or two longer. Guatemala was probably the worst traffic that we saw.
And the worst border crossing was definitely to Nicaragua. Once you get the boat across from El Salvador, they drop you off at this random patch of sand. You get your bags checked, and then you just sit there for about 2 hours and you have no idea what's going on. They've taken your passports and you don't get them back until the bus arrives.
Yeah.
So you're just sort of waiting around until some bus sort of shows up in the sun, in the middle of the day, with no toilets, nowhere to get food, water. Oh my
God, the sprinklers just went off. Okay, and then from there, where are we heading?
So from Santa Teresa, we're heading up to Monteverde, which is the jungle. So this is famous for the cloud forests in Costa Rica, and there's zip lining and stuff. We're staying in a little town called Santa Elena, which is where most people stay, and then you head out for your excursions from there.
And then we head over to La Fortuna, quite a similar vibe, which is another sort of 3-hour drive around the jungle too.
And then we head over to the capital, which is San Jose. We're going to spend a night there before we actually are going to take a flight over to Panama.
In general, Costa Rica for us was about 10 days, about 3 days at each of those locations before heading to the airport. Then when we hit Panama City, we're going to be there for 3 days just to check out the city, have a look around, see the Panama Canal, which I'm weirdly excited for. And then that kind of wraps up Central America.
And then we're going to head to South America, but obviously you can't get there by road, so we're actually taking a boat through the San Blas Islands. There's going to be a 5 to 6 day trip depending on the weather, which looks insane, so we're really excited for that.
Yep.
And that will get us into Colombia.
So that is our whole Central America itinerary sort of wrapped up. It's a very classic backpacker route. All of these locations are very touristy, I would say, and they lend themselves to buses going between them. All the popular hostels along the way will direct you on buses and things, and you'll find this route is very popular with all backpackers. You can obviously do the exact same route in reverse, starting from Panama going up to Belize.
Because we did skip Honduras, maybe we'll go back in the future when we have time to do the visa and stuff. But yeah, we've basically completed Central America.
Up next is South America. We have another 2 or 3 months going through South America with some epic things along the way. 5-day trek to Machu Picchu, Harry Styles in Sao Paulo, skiing in Argentina. So make sure to stick around for that as well.
Then we're going to do a quick hop to Australia for a friend's wedding, and then we're going to go over to Vietnam, which will be our last country on this world travel.
So hopefully this helps you a little bit if you're planning a Central America trip. We might talk a little bit about the money we've spent along the way. We've been keeping track of all of it, as well as all those daily vlogs that have been coming out between us across the time. So if one of these places piques your interest and you want to know a little bit more, make sure to check out the playlist below or check out the videos above. And apart from that, thank you guys for watching.
Don't forget to check out my TikTok.
And we will see you guys somewhere in the world next time.
Boom.
Boom.